Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym Podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast number 2084. The topic is nutrition, and the title is What I Eat in a Day. One of my clients is a personal trainer, and we were talking about nutrition. I was sharing with them kind of what I eat, and they asked if I would expand on that in a podcast, so here it is. There was just some fun discussion around food choices and how we each structured our meals. They just thought it would be enjoyable to learn more, so hopefully it will be. Right now, my goal is fat loss. I had shared recently that I was trying to push my weight up with the intent to hit 300 pounds. It was related to a childhood dream when I was 15, 16 years old and reading fitness magazines. All the bodybuilders that I looked up to, they all looked like and seemed like they weighed 300 pounds with 20-inch arms. So that was always something I thought when I was lifting weights at 16, 17, 18 years old. How cool would it be one day to be 300 pounds with 20-inch arms? And this was a young punk kid. I started lifting weights when I was 165 pounds with a higher body fat percentage than I have now at 280 some pounds. So I had no business thinking I was ever going to weigh 300 pounds. And my arms were probably 13 inches. I was a skinny kid. But I also had fat on me. I had no visible veins, no visible muscle tissue. You could grab fat rolls around my waist. So I was skinny in the sense that I had no muscle, but I was fat in the sense that I had fat. So I was skinny fat. Thinking back at it then, to just, oh my gosh, I was so disconnected from reality of what I thought was going to be possible. Now, I've been able to achieve really big goals and get way further than I ever thought I would. But it was interesting to think back then how little I knew, but yet how passionate I was towards that goal. And just as you learn along the way, you learn, okay, if I still want that goal, I now realize I have to do this, I realize I have to do this, I realize I have to do this. So thankfully I've learned along the way on how to get myself up to this body weight. But it was funny to think back then that I even thought it was possible. So it always makes me laugh a little bit. Now, recently, I was pushing to try to get up to 300 pounds. I have over 20-inch arms, so I accomplished that goal a year or two ago. Actually, longer than that, a couple years ago. But I recently just started doing an arm day again, just the last couple months, and they're up to 20 and a half inches, so pretty cool there. I might as well keep pushing. It could be fun to get bigger and bigger arms. And I had previously been as high as 295, was the highest my body weight ever was. And that was back before, I think that was before I owned the gym, so before 2011. I was up at 295, but at the time I felt like a fat marshmallow. I've never had a belly that kind of like hung over my pants or anything like that, but I was just kind of chubby, and I knew it wasn't the quality in which I wanted to reach the 300-pound goal. So at that time, I decided to stop and go on a diet. And recently, just this past month actually, I had pushed my weight back up to 297 as a morning weight, which meant by the end of the day I was actually over 300 pounds. But my morning weight, which is what I would care about, was 297. However, I felt that my body fat percentage this time was definitely enormously better, significantly better than it was back before 2011. You can see kind of the outline of my abs. I'm looking okay. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and go to 300 pounds. The downside was, though, is I was having a lot of sleep apnea issues. I don't have really good quality sleep in the first place. A lot of reasons for that. And then due to a surgery I had when I was a child, my throat looks twisted. It looks like somebody just took my throat and twisted it up. So a sleep apnea machine, like CPAP machines, don't work really well for me. I've had that verified, so it's not an opinion. I went and did a sleep test, and just absolutely off the chart score as to why I would need a CPAP. And then when I wore it, I couldn't even wear it on my back. It still didn't work well on my back. They tried to get me on my right side. It didn't work on my right side. They tried to get me on the left side. It worked to some degree. And then really the only way that the CPAP worked was if I was on my stomach. But when I'm on my stomach, I don't need the CPAP. So due to the way my throat is, if I lay on my stomach with my head tilted to the right, my throat is open. So I don't need the CPAP, and in any other position, the CPAP didn't work anyhow. So it was very frustrating. Sleep has just always been pretty shitty. However, when I was at 297, like last month, it was the worst it had been in a really long time. I was choking. I was waking myself up by choking. Back in, before I recently got omeprazole and some other things to help with throat, I would wake up throwing up. And so that was a lot of challenges trying to figure out how to work your way through that. And just a couple weeks ago, I had a little bit of like a nighttime scare where it just I woke up, heart was racing, choked myself, and I was like, golly, this isn't going well. So I was at 297, but I was like, it's just, I gotta back off. Maybe I can come back and try this again sometime. So I reduced my sodium intake, cut my calories down by over 1,000 calories a day, and I dropped my water weight down, and it brought my weight down, which then made my breathing a lot better. So I'm now down to 283 pounds in the morning weight. So I've dropped 14 pounds, but it was, mostly water. I wish it was 14 pounds of fat. Wouldn't that be nice? But mostly water. A couple pounds of fat because I've been doing it for a couple weeks, and it's a pretty drastic drop, 1,000 calories plus. But it's mostly water. However, my breathing is much better. I feel much cleaner. Definitely feel more athletic, feel good. So this is a water retention amount and body fat amount that I can sleep well at. And I look and feel okay. I actually, what's funny is at 283 I feel skinny, but that's because I have body dysmorphia and psychological problems. But we'll see. I'll see if I can build back up, but I'd like to build back up with muscle, so that way there isn't so much water retention the next time I try to push the 300. So I haven't given up on that goal. I can get there, but I just got to kind of take it in steps. So that is where I'm at right now with my goals, and that is dictating then kind of what I eat. So the way I'm eating now is I want to lose body fat while still having good daily and workout energy, and I still want to be able to build muscle. So the balance there is I want to have a low enough carb and fat intake that my body needs to dip into existing body fat to have the energy to make it through the day. But I don't want to have too low of a carb and fat intake that I don't have enough energy to make it through the day, or don't have enough energy to make it through my workouts, or I don't have enough available energy to fuel protein synthesis process. So I have to have enough protein that I can build new muscle, but I also have to have enough carbs and fats to fuel that process of building new muscle, but not have too many carbs and fats that it's not requiring some dip into existing body fat to make it through the day. So, fun little weird balance there. This is what I do for clients all the time, so it's actually normal. Sounds like a very contradictory things, but this is my job. so it's pretty. It's relatively easy. It's just you got to figure out the right circumstances, the right situations for each person. But this is what I do. So in the morning, what I'm doing right now is supplements and hydration. I'll have a multivitamin, then have vitamin D3, and I have creatine. I'm experimenting a little bit with creatine. In the past, when I was in my 20s, I wasn't really a big fan of creatine. Clients didn't really ever say that they had great results from it. It was never like a make or break type thing. And for a lot of females, it caused like water retention that would make their weight go up, and it's like, well, this will help you be stronger and build muscle, and they're like, yeah, but I don't care, my weight went up, and it's like, oh, okay. So you had to kind of pull it out, even if it would have had longer term benefits, just due to the temporary water retention. And then recently, though, I've been reading more, like I read every month about supplements. I get access to peer-reviewed research articles and journals. So I still have access from that from when I used to teach at the university level. So I'll read through the journals, see what the recent research is, and then I watch, typical YouTube influencers, quote unquote, to see kind of what's going on. There's more than I could be able to name because I'm not even going to be able to think of them right now. But Andy Galpin, Lane Norton, those are some people I'll listen to. There are some contest prep coaches as well that I'll listen to. And contest prep is in like bodybuilding kind of stuff. But those are some names that you can kind of start with and go from there. There are good information. There is good information available. Stan Efferding is another one. If he makes something, it's usually pretty good. But the downside is there's a lot of people who lie, just flat out lie, 100% lie, because they have a product they want to sell. So they cherry pick the things that they want. They dismiss and don't even mention the other things that would not necessarily be contradictory, but just say, hey, here's a whole other option that's totally fine if you want to take this option as well. So they don't want you to know that because they want you to buy their product. And unfortunately, from my perspective, it's going to sound like a jaded perspective, but there's more people that lie than there are people who offer genuine, honest information. And it just stinks. It stinks. Why do people have to be pieces of shit? It's so frustrating. If you have a product, just sell your product for what it is. Don't dismiss other options. Don't lie about things. Don't overvalue things. Just really, really, really frustrating. Because I get messages from clients, and all my clients have an online journal. They can share with me any questions they have, and I give answers. A lot of times they express being overwhelmed and uncertain, and there's just too much information out there. It all seems to be contradictory, and they're right. It's just so many people freaking lie. And it's just absolute bullshit. It pisses me off. And I wish that they would just be better people. Wouldn't that be nice in life? But I just wish they were better people and didn't do that. So when you do find the people that tell the truth, it's very, very, very important that you hold on to those people and lean into those people. So those are my supplements at the moment. Multivitamin, vitamin D3, and then creatine. I drink the creatine in 24 ounces of water. Right now I use NutriCost as my supplements company, so I use them for multivitamins for vitamin D3. And their creatine, man, they have creatine monohydrate, but it's flavored. There's a watermelon flavor that's delicious, and then a fruit punch one, which I like as well. But the flavorings are amazing. I remember when creatine first came out, it was unflavored, and it was disgusting. You mixed it with water or juice or something, but at the time, if I was dieting, I didn't want the sugar in the juices. So it was just, man, you mix that with water and it's this gritty, nasty. Just imagine you crushed up a piece of chalk, mixed it in water and tried to drink it. It was disgusting. Now the flavors are infinitely better. so very happy about that. So that's the company I use is NutriCost. You can look for their creatine monohydrate, the flavored version, and it tastes very good. So I have that. Get the 24 ounces of water in me, start getting kind of things going for the day. Then usually Meredith and I will take a walk with Daisy, our dog, and we'll do around a 20-minute walk in the morning. And then when we get back from the walk, I'll have my first meal. My first meal is 2 cans of tuna, a pouch of microwavable jasmine rice, and then I allow myself about 100 calories in some type of sauce or dressing. That ends up being 850 calories with 70 grams of protein. So that's my first meal. Now, why do I have that? I'm not actually a big fan of tuna. I don't really like it. I don't hate it enough to not have it, but it's not something I would typically pick as a meal that I'd want to have. But the reason why I do have it is it's in these pop-top kind of tins, and you can make it quick, easy. The volume is small to get to 70 grams of protein, considering the rice also has 10 grams of protein in it. So 2 cans of tuna, microwavable pouch of rice, and quick and easy. You microwave the rice for 90 seconds. While that's taking 90 seconds to do, I pop the top on the tuna, drain out the water, put it in a bowl, use a fork to mash up the larger pieces of tuna. And then usually the rice is done. I'll put the tuna in the microwave for 30 seconds. Then it's all relatively similar temperature. put it in a bowl, put about 100 calories of sauce on it, and then I can start eating. So within like 3 minutes, when you decide to eat, you're eating. What's also nice is you're only left with the dishes of the bowl and the fork, because I eat it with a fork. You can clean that up real quick. So it's very quick, easy prep. You're eating and cleaned up. I mean, you can prep everything and be eating in 3 minutes. And to clean up is, 1 minute to wash a bowl and a fork. That's it. Now, the other benefits is it's quick and easy for digestion. My body processes it very quickly, very easily. I don't feel bloated. There's no stomach problems. I have okay energy coming out of it. I'm not bouncing off the walls because it's just tuna and rice, but I don't feel drained afterwards. For example, if I were to eat oats, I've eaten oatmeal and oats before for diets, and I just don't have energy from oats. I can eat the same number of calories, like the same number of like carbohydrate-based calories from oats as I can from rice, and I have better energy from rice. I do not have very good energy from oats, and I feel more bloated from oats, so that's why I wouldn't choose that. I played around with other carbohydrate sources, and I've just found that rice is best for me, and I like the taste of jasmine rice compared to basic white rice or basmati rice. So that's, quick and easy for prep, quick and easy for digestion. I'm usually hungry in about 3 hours, which is when my next meal is scheduled. And then I also will add sodium, so I add salt to that meal, which increases my thirst, and that prompts me to usually drink an extra 24 ounces of fluid between the first and the second meal. So I'm getting more and more hydration in as I'm leading into my workout, which I tend to have most commonly early afternoon. So after the first meal, I do client check-ins and programs for a couple hours. I'll then have my second meal, which is boring. It's literally just the same thing as the first. 2 cans of tuna, microwavable pouch of rice, 100 calories of sauce. I'll then do a podcast and social media, so that's actually the time block I'm in now. So hello. And after that, I will have my third meal is actually a shake. So what I do is after I go through podcast and prepping social media for that day or the future days, I then will want to get into my workout. So since I want to get into my workout quickly, I don't want a solid food meal. I've already had 2 solid food meals. I've gotten, a decent amount of hydration in me, got a decent amount of carbohydrates. I'm coming into the workout feeling good, but not with a lot of surplus. Meaning, when I work out, I drink a shake that is 24 ounces of fruit juice with 2 scoops of Nutri-Cost whey protein isolate, and that ends up being 600 calories with 60 grams of protein. And I'll start that a little bit before the workout, usually finish it during the workout. The reason why I have that is it's fast digesting, very easy to drink. Not heavy in any way whatsoever. It's good. It tastes good because I have vanilla protein powder with the fruit punch, fruit juice. So it's actually like a nice berry type flavor. But it's 600 calories, 60 grams of protein. It gets some carbohydrates in my system to help fuel the workout, gets the protein in there to help kind of mitigate, protein breakdown to some degree, help starting the protein synthesis process. So I like that because it's quick, easy. Again, I can make that in 30 seconds and start drinking it. It's fast digesting, which is when I need it because I'm drinking it as I'm working out. And I use a protein isolate as opposed to like a protein concentrate, because the isolate is more filtered and it reduces digestive stress. When I don't have an isolate, I'll sometimes get an upset stomach if I use like 60 grams worth of protein powder. When I have an isolate, I can do that and have no stomach problems. So that is why I choose a protein isolate as opposed to a concentrate. So then I have the workout. Sometimes I'll also have an energy drink along with that. Sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. After the workout, I'll usually wrap up my work for the day. So if I film during the workout, I'll edit a couple videos, clean it up, make sure it's prepped and ready for the next day so I can piece it all together and put together social media in the next day's time block that's allotted for that. So I kind of wrap things up. Then I'll share a little bit of time with Meredith and Daisy. And then we have our evening meal, which is my 4th meal of the day, is 10 ounces of uncooked chicken breast. So I weigh it uncooked at 10 ounces. 1 pouch of microwavable rice, So yes, I have 3 of those a day with 100 calories of sauce. That equates to 1,000 calories and 60 grams of protein. Now, I've experimented with higher fat content meats because it's my last meal of the day, and I have advised people before that one thing you could think of, not that it's a must, not that you have to do it, but one thing you can think of is when people are trying to control body fat, typically they're not going to have as much allowance. They're not going to have as much allowance for carbohydrates as I would have. Being at 280 pounds, I have a lot more allowance for carbohydrates because I have more muscle glycogen space. So I have more space in my body to store carbohydrates before they would be converted to body fat. I also work out 6 to 7 days a week. And on top of that, I have a 7,000 step count on a regular basis. I don't even use, I usually track with my phone. So it's when my phone is in my pocket. When I'm working at my desk, I have my phone on the desk. And if I get up and go to the bathroom, I don't count those steps because the phone is in my pocket. When I'm working out, the phone is sitting on the bench in the squat rack, so it doesn't count my steps there. So there's definitely steps in the day that are not counted, and I still hit 7,000 on a regular basis. So probably more so around 8,000, 9,000 on a daily basis. Plus, I work out for an hour to 2 hours, 6 to 7 days a week. I'm very, very active, and I'm 280 pounds. So I have an enormous space for carbohydrates compared to the clients I would typically work with. So now the competition clients I have, like elite level powerlifters and aesthetic athletes, and then college athletes like wrestlers and whatnot, they're going to have very similar. Like I have one client, they eat a whole box of Frosted Flakes before they go for a run. So it depends on the person, depends on their activity level. Most people listening to the podcast aren't going to have this much carbohydrate allowance. So what we typically would do is you would drop carbohydrates at dinner and exchange those calories as needed to reach your calorie goal for the day with more fats. The reason why is fats are slower digesting, so you're going to have less of a momentary surplus at the time of the meal, and they're slower digesting, meaning they'll give better energy towards protein synthesis, protein repair, muscle repair throughout the night. But you don't have to do that. I'm a case where I choose not to do that, because when I've tried higher fat contents at dinner, even if I use Zypan, even if I use fat-specific digestive aids, I sometimes will just have an upset stomach. So that's kind of a bummer, and you don't really want that. That causes more bloating, causes digestive problems for every other food you eat all day because your digestive tract is inflamed and annoyed. So I like staying with more lean meat and carbs as a personal choice. And then also that's what Meredith eats. So it's just simply easier for me to cook for both of us if we're eating the same things. The other benefit I find is, for me, the carbohydrates in the rice aren't enough to overfill my glycogen stores, considering from the workout, I haven't had anything. This is my meal after the workout. So after I work out, I wrap up work, hang out with Meredith and Daisy. We might even go for another walk. And then we have this dinner. So I've already been very busy. My glycogen stores are probably, near empty. So just adding more carbs at night, I don't have to worry about fat formation because it's going to go to glycogen before it would go to body fat. And then also by having carbohydrates at night, along with some sodium, it decreases the number of times I have to urinate at night, so I get better quality of sleep. And I wake up feeling more hydrated with better energy in the morning. When I reduce carbohydrates at night, sometimes I'll feel very dehydrated at night. I'll have to go to the bathroom more often. I have lower energy in the morning. So for me, preferentially, individually, I like having the carbs at night because it helps me have a better quality of sleep and a better morning the next day. So in total, these foods put me around 3,300 calories to 3,500 calories. And 260 grams of protein. Now, why is there a range? Is because sometimes I'll have the energy drink. It's 200 calories and sometimes I don't. But that's my typical day. The only time, I don't really eat anything other than this stuff. When I'm dieting in the way I'm dieting, if we have like a doctor's appointment and I have to switch my workouts around, I'll flip-flop my meals. So I'm gonna have that shake around my workout time. So if my workout has to be first in the day, I'm gonna have that shake first in the day. Then I'll have my 2 tuna meals. Then I'll have my chicken meal. Or if I have to work out really late at night because we had a chaotic day, I would flip all my meals around. I don't change what I eat. I just change when I eat what I eat, if that makes sense. I'm fortunate at this stage in my life where I'm okay with eating the same thing all the time. I don't care anymore. When I was younger and I would like struggle with that, what I would do is I would give myself options in the sense of like 2 cans of tuna, for example, is going to give me 60 grams of protein. So I'd say, okay, can I find, if I don't want tuna today, can I have a lean meat that I can get 60 grams of protein from that'll give me relatively similar calories? So maybe that could be lean ham, lean turkey, it could be lean beef, it could be a different type of fish. So I would give myself options for that. Jasmine rice, same thing. If I know, okay, the rice is giving me, a pouch of jasmine rice is 480 calories and 10 grams of protein. So I would say, okay, what other carb source is going to get me around 480 calories and around 10 grams of protein? So maybe I would choose potatoes. Maybe I would choose, like Meredith has this chickpea pasta that she really likes. I'm not a big fan of it, but if I chose to have that one day instead, I could do that. So I give myself categorical replacements, meaning if I'm replacing the tuna, it's a protein-rich item. I want to make sure I replace it with a protein-rich item. I don't want to just replace the calories with something that doesn't give me protein. And then same thing with the jasmine rice. It's giving me energy. So I want to replace it with something else that would give me energy. So I would give myself categorical choices, and then that's how I would allow myself to have more variety in my meals. Also, the sauces. If you notice, I allow myself with 100 calories per meal. So that sauce can be something sweet, it can be something savory, it can be whatever the heck I want it to be. So you can have variety in your sauces, and that can create variety and change from meal to meal. So that is a simple way to where I would be able to substitute and make changes in my foods, but still be able to hit around my calorie and protein targets. Now, I don't do that at the moment, but if I wanted to, that would be quick and easy to do, and that's something that you can do in your diet. Is if you don't want to have tuna every day, that's fine. Just substitute with something that gives you around the same number of calories and the same amount of protein, and you're good to go. That would be fine. So at the moment, this is working well for me. I feel that it's enough calories to have good daily energy, but by the end of the day, I'm dead. I am falling asleep on the couch by the end of the day. So I don't need more because I'm at least making it to the couch. And I don't need less because I want to make it to the couch. But this is my day. If somebody asks, and it would be a reasonable question, is, hey, you don't eat any vegetables. I don't, because to eat this volume of food, 2 cans of tuna and a pouch of rice, and then the 10 ounces of chicken and a pouch of rice, I already don't want to eat that much. I naturally don't like to eat. I would only eat 1 meal a day when I was younger, and that was fine with me. So to add volume to my meal through vegetables is laborsome and annoying because you have to eat a lot of volume and you don't really get a lot of calories out of it. So I do take the multivitamin. Is that a perfect replacement? No. Do I have to worry about fiber? Not really. My digestion is fine. My blood work is fine. There's a fancy name for it, but I can't think of it right now. But it's a gastroparesis type condition where I don't digest food as quickly as like quote unquote normal. So if I add fiber and some other things to my foods, it actually messes me up. Eating 40 grams of fiber, which is like the recommended amount, would absolutely destroy my gut and mess me up. So I found that I benefit from a really low fiber diet. And again, it's supported in blood work. My bathroom frequency is normal. You're going to find that in all the advice in the world, when people are telling you what the normal person should do, that some of it is going to be true for you and some of it you're going to be an outlier. That's just the nature of the beast. Is, you have 1,000 people lined up, not all 1,000 are the same. There's an average in there, and that is the quote-unquote normal. So when you get recommendations and people say, everybody should do this, everybody should do that, there's typically going to be outliers, and you are likely to be an outlier in some way as you look at more and more elements. So if you're controlling and factoring in more elements into your diet, instead of looking at just 2 things, you're now looking at 10 things, you're going to notice you're starting to be more of an outlier as you look at more things. This is why I have a job, because nutrition, there are some common threads that everyone would be best to follow. However, how you follow that, how you apply it to you, is uniquely different from person to person. And that's why I have a job, because I can help people do that and kind of figure out how to apply it to them. But this is how I'm applying it to me. So I feel like I'm having enough calories in regards to carbs and fat energy. I have enough protein at the moment because I'm recovering well. I train 6-7 days a week, still fine. I'm making little progressions as I would expect and want to make in my training for strength-wise, like repetition-wise, weight-wise, stuff like that. So if I adjust this at all, I'm probably going to increase my protein, because given the fact that I am eating around my body weight, but I train 6 to 7 days a week and I have a step count over 7,000 regularly, I might be under my protein amount needed for the day. So what I'll do is I'm going to continue to watch my markers, see how they're progressing, but that would be my prediction for what I might be able to adjust in the future, is maybe add a little more protein in. And at 4 meals a day, I have digestive space to where I could add a 5th meal if I wanted to. I don't want to, because I don't like to eat, but it would help me get my goals. So I want my goals more than I want to be comfortable eating. So if I need to add the 5th meal, I will, just to get my protein up. But that is what I'm doing for now. What I track is I track my body weight every day. I am not emotionally connected to the fact that my body weight will fluctuate small amounts every day. That's normal. That happens. I've been tracking body weight since I was 16, 17 years old. I understand that it's going to go up and down, but there are trends over time, and that's what I'm looking at. I track my sleep quality. Am I too tired too early? If I'm too tired too early, I'm not getting enough carbs and fats in, and that is where I typically would make my mistakes in the past. Is I wanted to lose fat quickly, so I would just undereat my carbs and fats to the point where I'd feel like crap and be dead tired, and thought that I just had to suffer through that. What I found was I was actually too severely under eating and was actually messing up my own process. So damn it. So now I have to be careful to make sure I don't make it too miserable, in the sense to where it's pushing my body to a position in which it won't easily give up the body fat. So I have to make sure I am at the right level of fatigue. So that's what I'm measuring there. Weekly training progressions. As long as I'm making progress in training, I know I'm good. And then I do take photos every month. So I take a front relaxed, side relaxed, and rear relaxed, and just kind of see what I'm looking like. Check the love handles, check all the different spots, like my arms are too small, my shoulders are too small, my legs are too small, waist is too big. So go through all that fun mental process of analyzing my own body. But those are the things that I track: is weight, sleep quality, training progressions, and then photos per month. And then I'll just adjust things based on how I'm feeling and based on what those data points are telling me along the way. So I thought I hope that was fun. So the client who asked me to do this, hopefully this is what you wanted. And there was something interesting in here. So if anybody has any questions, if you need anything, just reach out to me. You can reach out on our website, www.brutalirongym.com. You can scroll to the bottom of the homepage. There's a contact form there. You can send me a message, and I'll answer anybody's message within 2 weeks. If you like the podcast, please share the podcast. The more people we share it with, the more people can help. If you like the podcast, please consider donating to support the podcast, which you can do on our website. Also, if you like the information we share in the podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels. You can find us and follow us on Instagram and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.